All right, happy Monday, everybody. A new start to a new week coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios here, the little daily broadcast from Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, brought to you by Premier Sportsplex, where the game is on, and by South Plains College. Enrolling today, a lot of great Red Raiders got their starts as great Texans at South Plains College in Levelland. We're looking forward to visiting with you guys today. A lot of different things to get into Texas Tech wise. We can now start kind of the quasi prediction portion. I'll have my full season predictions coming up later on this week, probably on the Wednesday broadcast is when we will do that. We've already got Alan Corbin's posted at theraiderland.com. Alan is watching. Chris is watching. So tonight we'll talk about the toughest game on the schedule for Texas Tech and which one you think that is. They also unveiled glorious looking throwback jersey tops from the Donny Anderson era. Oh my goodness! So we'll ask you which year you might want to throw it back to if you wanted to honor a senior season with a certain uniform look. And then we hand out Raiderland helmet stickers today. Anyone and everyone deserving a little recognition, get in on the text line 806-772-0197. That's 806-0197, just like the radio show. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, you share this, you invite people in, and then you let us know the audio is good. As Craig says, the talking box is on. Give us thumbs, give us hearts, give us little stars or whatever it is that you can do. I don't know. Do what you do. Beverage sip there. Thank everybody making their way in. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody's got a lot of good helmet stickers to hand out. As we like to say, there are numerous helmet stickers. There's only one highly coveted Raiderland helmet sticker. Anyone and everyone deserving recognition. If they made those the permanent uniforms, it would be an upgrade, to say the least. They're close to perfect. They're close. A couple of little nudges here and there, and it would be almost the perfect uniform. All right, let's get it going. Shall we begin? Is everybody in? 3, 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, the website. Start your day. We've got hot links, cool stuff that we think you're going to like. Be sure and start contributing to those. If you see stuff during the day, maybe save it for us or put it in the comments section, and we'll throw it into the next day's run. But yeah, question of the day, every day, theraiderland.com. We archive everything we do. If you missed our 5 things we know in a Sunday column, that was yesterday on Sunday. You can go back and read it. Coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios. Yeah, temps are lowering just a little bit. That means it was only showing like 102 on my truck dash. Here at the studios, though, they are Arctic, they are air, they are cooled. Callthebear.com. Premier Sportsplex, proud sponsor. Well, I guess they're proud. We'll have to ask Curry and the guys for what we've done in Raiderland for quite some time. Their fall programs are beginning. After school activities for the kiddos. You might want to look into it. Check out their Facebook page, Premier Sportsplex. A lot of stuff going on. And the aforementioned South Plains College. Shout out to the Texans. A lot of great Red Raiders start over there. Might be just perfect for you or a family member. Check it out, South Plains College. Okay, you guys know what to do. Let's hand out the stickers tonight. Let's get the conversation going. I want a lot of back and forth conversation. You guys on Twitter Live, you guys on YouTube Live, you use the text line right there on the screen, 806-772-0197. That way I get to see it in real time. We're using multiple platforms here on the live stream, and it's pretty much impossible to get all of them in one place. If you're on Facebook Live, you can use the normal talking box feature, or you can use the text line if you want to. 806-772-0197, the Raiderland text line. So yeah, give me good helmet stickers today. Give me the toughest game you think Tech will have this year. And if you want to throw back, that's why I'm wearing the red shirt too today. I was like, that jersey, that Donny Anderson era jersey, not completely what Anderson wore, but they call them like tributes. They're not pure throwbacks. And I don't know why they don't make it exactly the same, but there's probably a reason. I don't know. So let's get it going, shall we? Chris says, please make them the permanent uniforms. I'm all for that. As we said, it'll be an upgrade. Alan, helmet sticker, the Jehovah's Witness pair going door to door today in my neighborhood. Real commitment, 109 degrees heat. They're trying to stay away from a hotter heat. Craig says, are they going to wear black or white helmets with the throwbacks? I haven't seen. Somebody on Twitter said that they thought they were going to wear that jersey top with the for the Tarleton game. If they wear the jersey, they've got to wear the black helmets with the real double T. They've got to wear white pants. That's what they wore. To me, it would be nonsensical to wear a modern helmet with that jersey. It makes no sense to go back and do that. So you better have the classic all black helmet, no stripes, the real double T, and off we go. Having the real double T and the numbers is just perfection. Yeah. For those who haven't seen the picture, it's solid red, 3 white stripe, which is a bit of an amalgam of the era. No Texas Tech across the front, big numbers. I hadn't had time to go back and double check. I think that is the 63 uniform. I think that is the 63, 64, I believe, had Texas Tech across the front in white block lettering. So I think that's a 63 look. Might not be. I've got to go back and look. They had the same look, but they had a couple of different striping patterns during the early 60s. As we said, didn't have Texas Tech across the front some years and then had it. And then from about 64, 65 on, it was permanent across the front on the Texas Tech uniforms going forward from there. White on the red and then red on the white road jerseys. Michael is watching. So a helmet sticker goes to Under Armour and Texas Tech for making a really cool jersey. Oh, that's horrible product placement. Golly, that's bad. You guys can share today as well. It's really easy to do. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Invite some folks in. Let them know we're talking West Texas around here. A little helmet sticker day. The uniform you would like to see Tech throw back to if you wanted to. And then we'll get into this. What is the toughest game on the Tech schedule this year? Not giving my full season predictions, but we will get your thoughts on what you think the toughest game is for Texas Tech. Hit that Raiderland text line, 806-772-0197, and you can get your comments in. Tom Stone gets a Raiderland helmet sticker. Easy 5-0 victory. What was that over New Mexico State? He's a rock. He's a rock star. But he's another one of those, like a Greg Sands, like a Wes Kitley, that proved you can do it at Texas Tech. That if you just give them a little bit of resources, give them a little bit of facilities, give them a little bit of recruiting, you can have a consistent NCAA and top-level Big 12 team. And Tom Stone has proven that with Texas Tech soccer. It looked like a really good crowd as well out there. I think that seats about 1,200 or so. Look near capacity. I hadn't seen an official deal. But Tom Stone, he's a rock star. He gets a Raiderland helmet sticker. And they ought to do, like, instead of helmet stickers, like on their shorts, they could sew on little helmet sticker-like emblems there on the kit. I know my soccer language. Hi there, Andrew. Hi there, Andy. Andy getting in good and early tonight. We appreciate that. Chris wants to go all the way back to an Elmer Tarbox throwback in 1938. I'm with you on that. The 78 black unis upset Houston with black tops, white shoulder panels, white numerals, white Texas Tech, white pants with red and white, the typical red and white striping. They warmed up in red jerseys. They came out for kickoff in the black tops. Nobody had ever seen them before. That was Ralph Blodgett, a ranger out of Spearman, who was a big Tech supporter, who donated those jerseys. They only appeared one time. That was the only time Tech wore them. Hi there, Brad. So the 38 unis would be fantastic. Ton of stuff going on. I would also endorse for that game the faux leather helmet look with the stenciled double T across the front and then nothing else, just the paneling. You can make a football helmet today look like a leather helmet, and it would just be this black stenciled double T across the front. It'd be so cool. Raiderland helmet sticker to Julio Rodriguez and the Seattle Mariners sweeping the Astros. I think they'll win the AL West. The Rangers will be the wild card. Michael's calling it right now that the Rangers are not going to hold on, that the streaking Mariners are going to get there. Well, happy Monday to you, Brad, and happy Monday to everybody watching on Twitter Live or X Live and on YouTube. You can text in 806-772-0197 on the Raiderland text line. Give us your Raiderland helmet stickers. Who deserves a little recognition today? Throwback uniforms. Which year would you like to see Tech throw back to? They unveiled some early 60s Donny Anderson era look today that was great. Very great. And then the toughest games on the Tech schedule. We'll start going through that. For this year's season, what do you think the toughest wins are to get? Andy says black helmets, black jerseys. Not a huge black jersey guy. Every now and then, not a huge black jersey guy. Alan, I would settle for the 89-95 Tech jerseys with the red or black tops, traditional 60s look with the black helmet, red tops, white pants. Yeah, I like that. It wasn't 89. 89 was still wearing black for the most part. Last regular season game against TCU, they let the seniors, I think that was either the year before or the year after. I know Tolliver in 88 season finale, I think that was against TCU, wanted the red tops, so they wore red tops and the silver breeches. And I can't remember if they did that in the final game as well for Jamie Gill in 89. It would be about 90 or 91 when they went to a really nice red top, the Marcus Coleman era. They wore those in the early 90s. Then they kind of worked the black back in at different times during the Zach Thomas era. Yeah, the silver pants were Jerry Moore's idea because he was a huge Oakland Raiders, LA Raiders fan. And when he got the job, he had a whole bunch of, commitment to excellence, pride, and poise. And he wanted the Tech Red Raiders to look like the Oakland Raiders, so he went to the silver pants and the black jerseys. That's where that came from. That had never been a thing until Jerry Moore. All right, so toughest wins, Raiderland Helmet Stickers. You guys on the text line, 806-772-0197, and the Say Something box on Facebook. Yeah, Saul wore the red helmets the red tops quite a bit during the back half of his Tech career. Started in 89. Toughest wins, I think, will be at UT, especially if they beat Alabama and then Oregon. Chris is watching. Alan says Tech 24-4 since 2012 when they wear black helmets and red tops. Do the right thing. You can't lie with. You can't argue against science. The numbers don't lie. All right, so tough games. Obviously, Oregon. Cannot wait to see what that line looks like here in about a week on the futures, and then what that will get bid to. Of course, a lot of this will depend, Texas Tech, what they look like against Wyoming. It could be Wyoming could be tough. Anything in between, a 10-point win against Wyoming or a 30-point win, somewhere in between. But I will not be shocked if that game is a score 2 going to the fourth quarter. All right? Just don't be surprised. So depending on what Tech looks like in that game, that will determine what the line ends up going off against Oregon. You'll probably be a small dog. Andy going to hand out a helmet sticker to Lubbock Fire Department Codes for Kids golf tournament today. Hey, you got some nice weather, nice cool weather. Chris says the Baylor game scares him. I think that is obviously a tough game. That's coming off the Houston game. Now, you feel like you should have some pretty good momentum going into that, right? Baylor on the road, if it were in Lubbock, I don't think it would scare fans. I don't think it should not scare you. Do not live in fear. Now, it could be a tricky game. It depends on what you believe about Baylor. Have they been able to continue restocking the talent at top level, recruiting classes that you feel translate to high level Big 12 play? Or are they on a slow brain drain slide, losing Blanchard, losing McGuire, several others off that staff that got them to the Sugar Bowl a few years ago? That's gone. So how do you evaluate Baylor? Chris says Oregon, UT, Baylor first road test, and Kansas State, BYU gives me the Colorado 2005. Chris, that's too many games. I want to know the toughest game. Altitude at Wyoming is 7,200 feet. Whatever. We're at 3,000. Altitude won't affect Texas Tech. It affects teams more coming from like Texas A&M to Lubbock than it does Texas Tech, who already is kind of at altitude going to those places. I've watched it over and over. It's not altitude. I watched Tech go into New Mexico. I watched Tech go with the basketball teams. Nah, they're in good shape. And they're going to go in a day early, acclimate just a little bit. Nice move. Altitude won't be a problem. Tech 31, Wyoming 17, a ho-hum game, which will look decent later on in the season. So Baylor's after Houston. You should get a win against Wyoming. Let's say you lose to Oregon. Then you ought to reel off wins against Charlton, West Virginia, and Houston. So you've won 3 in a row. What if you're 500? Andy says Tech beats Oregon. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'd rank Oregon ahead of Baylor on tough games. Helmet sticker this year, Isaac Smith. I tuned into J. Jonah Jameson's live stream, but ain't heard a word about Spider-Man. I'm going to look up all of those later on. Toughest game for Tech, Wyoming, because you're focused on Wyoming. Good job. Chris says, okay, I'll say Baylor. If Tech can win road games this year, they'll be cooking with gas. You always want to be cooking with gas until the Democrats take it away from you. And then we won't be able to say that expression. They're really cooking with gas when they're having a good day. I think Oregon's tougher than Baylor. K-State, getting K-State in Lubbock is huge. Idle, I have not done much research against Idle. At Kansas, hey, Kansas is going to go, but they better build that $500 million thing that they're talking about. They better build that like before week 4. Not a believer in Kansas. UCF at home and then at Texas. I mean, it's a real, I'm not saying it's easy. It's never easy. But Texas could be your toughest game just because it's Texas. And if they're still playing for something, that's one of the reasons why I don't like where Texas is on the schedule. It's kind of a 50-50 deal. That either they're done, and that's fine. That they've had the season that I think Steve Sarkisian is quite capable of delivering because that's what he does. He's not a coach who goes out and typically wins 10, 11, 12 games. But on the other hand, much like an economist, they could very well be playing for something, and that makes that game loom large there. Any news on Iowa State players and suspensions? I saw where the running back involved quit the team voluntarily today. They will end up being a grease fire along with, it looks like West Virginia, and I think Oklahoma State could join them. I truly think a spot in the Big 12 championship game could be on the line for both teams in the game. It's quite possible. And you guys know me. I'm not a sunshine pumper. I try to be as real and honest with you as I can because I feel like you probably don't get enough of that. That's not me being contrarian, by the way. That's me trying to be honest with you. But this is a gettable schedule. This is workable. Alan Sark's never done better than 9-win season at Washington USC. Not happening for him. I lean that way. At 9.5 on a win total, I think Texas is an absolute fade and take the under. If it's flat 10, yeah. 10.5 for sure. And that's why on the Sharp Angle Syndicate show last week, we were talking about some college football teams we liked and didn't like. Shout out Sharp Angle Syndicate. If you're in the sports gaming way, you're looking for a good service, I highly recommend Sharp Angle Syndicate. I am a paid consultant. I am not a handicapper. I am a spokesperson for Sharp Angle Syndicate. All right, so full disclosure. But the Texas, to me, if you can find the number, because they keep getting bet up, they get bet up, and somebody's going to hang a 10 on them. So to me, you've really got 3 games that you look at and you go, these are really tough games, and all 3 of them are eminently winnable. That there's not a Oklahoma when Oklahoma was running the table in the Big 12, and you got to go there and Jackson Tyner or whatever his name is your quarterback because they won't play, what's his name? Duffy. James is watching. There's not a team that you just go, wow, you just got to play your greatest game ever and you got a shot. No. Oregon, at Baylor, at Texas. You can win all those 3 games just by playing good football. Good football. UT and OU have the proverbial target this year more than usual. Well, I don't know Proverbs inside and out. I understand a good bit of it. But what I'll tell you this is that every year people want to beat Texas, and every year people want to beat OU. But this year, yes, that if this is your last shot to get them, and for Texas Tech, when they go down there on, what is that, November 24th, it'll be your last shot to get them for a long time probably, that they're going to be taking more, and they will have a target. And Texas can walk around. Steve Sarkisian has already tried to use that as a motivator. All right. I don't know how much more it'll be than any other given year where people want to be them. How bad is Okie State going to be? I think they're going to struggle to get to 6 wins. I think they're going to struggle to be a bowl-eligible team. The slide began last year around the time Tech played them, and it just continued through the year. And Mike Gundy looks like a guy who just doesn't want to be there anymore. He hates the current college setup. He's not bought in, and it's going to show. And I think if it goes bad early, he could be the second coach in the Big 12 fired. Not a team that's vastly more talented than Tech on their schedule this year. No. There's not a team that's vastly more talented than Tech in the Big 12. The Big 12, I wouldn't say is down. I don't see a team in the Big 12 that I just automatically go, yeah, you're going to see them against Georgia for the national championship game. But then I didn't think you'd see that last year, did I? He's 50-something now. He's older than me. So what's the toughest game on the Tech schedule? We asked that question tonight, the minutes we have left with you. Neil Brown, first coach fired this year. Yes, Neil Brown, first coach Big 12 fired this year. You guys signed off on the text line here in Raiderland, 806-772-0197. Hand out those Raiderland helmet stickers. We are celebrating the throwback jersey that Texas Tech unveiled today from the Donny Anderson era, about 63, I think, on that look. You shouldn't be sold on OU either. So if you got a year that you would like to see Tech throw back to, that would be really cool. We want to hear from you. And then hand out some more of those Raiderland helmet stickers. Anyone and everyone, sports or other. No, you shouldn't be sold on OU. Listen, Lincoln Riley's a smart guy. Lincoln Riley, I think, was in the process of getting run out of town, and he made it look like he was leading a parade to USC. Their talent had been slowly going down. Not horrible, not bad. But he knew it, and I think he looked around. He took the temperature of the room. He said, hold on, I can go to USC? Okay. Hold on, I'm going to the Big Ten now? Well, crap. How many square feet is that mansion I'm getting? All right, we'll make it work. The Fighting Bo Rikers, 2-0 in their scrimmages so far against Water Valley and Crosbyton, will open up the season at Boys Ranch on Friday night. Looking good. Good conditioning. I'll say this. I don't know what the record will be. Always hard to say with high school. But the Ropes Eagles are in better physical conditioning than at any time I've seen them since I've been following them over the years. Who recruited that lesser talent? That would be the guy who was from West Texas at one time, Lincoln Riley. Yeah, we're trying to get there. So I look at Oklahoma right now, and they're not bad by any stretch. But the talent hadn't gone up considerably precipitously. It'll be interesting to see. Helmet sticker to the kids from Needville, 2-0, in Williamsport, currently beating El Segundo. And we never liked El Segundo in the first place. Hey there, Trace. Glad you're watching. Helmet sticker to teachers that came back for week 2. God bless them. God bless them all. Oregon's the best team Tech will play this year. Texas may be the toughest place for Tech to get a win this year. How's that for an economist? How's that for splitting hairs for you? That depending on where both teams are, and that's the challenge of, I mean, this is almost like doing a survivor pool and betting in the NFL when you try to game something where teams are going to be on that weekend, you know? Speaking of recruits, biggest disappointment to be Brandon Cisse. Wow, we're throwing all the way back to the mid-2000s or so. Legendary defensive line, Brandon Cisse. That's why I don't get into recruiting too much. Beating Texas in no police-protected Austin is the biggest. I'm not saying the biggest one. I'm saying the toughest game that Texas Tech will play, the toughest win to get. What's it going to be? Just surviving going to Austin is a challenge. Traffic alone. God, it's such a beautiful city, too. Yeah, I mean, Austin is beautiful. The Hill Country is beautiful. Austin, even when I first started going in the early 90s and stuff, it has changed dramatically since then. It's just a shame that our state capital has turned into the People's Republic of Austin. If we could take that back one day, if we could take that back one day, it would be glorious. Allen, Oregon going to win the Pac 12 this season. I have no reason to argue with that statement of fact. No reason to argue with it. I think Oregon is the best team Texas Tech will play, but I think the toughest game to get, the toughest one to get, is going to be Texas at the end of the year for a variety of reasons, potentially. I think that one will still be tough. If that game were in Lubbock this year, I'd almost give it a lock status for Texas Tech because of the frenzied nature of 58,000 Texas Tech people in there. Oh, yeah, they'll exceed whatever the listed carrying capacity would be for that game. Fire Marshal be damned. Chris, it's shameful that Braunfels headed that way. Yeah. Well, it's all one thing now. I mean, really, when you get to Leander or wherever you want to be coming in from, the Austin area, the spread, to San Marcos, to San Antonio, to Braunfels, it's just all one thing. Austin is a liberal mecca. It's permanent until UT professors become conservatives. Oregon's coach probably should have been the one to replace Riley and Norman. Make that case. Make that case. I mean, there were a lot of people that were underwhelmed with the hire in the beginning. Nothing has changed over the last year to change my mind that wasn't a great hire. But I think what you know is that Dave Aranda's an SEC guy. If you're Oklahoma, it's all about the SEC. It's all about being ready for the SEC, and we all know he's an SEC kind of guy. I don't know. Final few minutes here. Raiderland Helmet Stickers. Who gets yours today? How about one for the late? Actually, he's not late. He's never going to show up. He's quite dead. But Jack Buck would have been 99 years old today. Don't blame him for Joe. Jack did his best. I can remember after 9/11 when Major League Baseball came back to play. I believe it was Jack Buck who read something there at Busch Stadium. Vin Scully did, I think, something similar at Chavez Ravine. But Jack Buck, just as awesome as it gets, radio on NFL. He did the radio broadcast with Ray Scott of the Ice Bowl, the national radio broadcast. Football, Monday Night Football, Jack Buck, Hank Stram. Hank. Helmet sticker to him. He's one of those guys that you grew up, you were aware of him because of Major League Baseball, NFL, and all that stuff. Then as I got older, God bless the internet that allowed us to dip in the mid-'90s all of a sudden and listen to all these guys that you had to dial in on Skywave before, at night and everything. Man. So Jack Buck, he would get one, I think, for me. Go with an overachiever in the modern era, Colby Whitlock. Colby Whitlock for what? Helmet sticker? What are we going for with Colby Whitlock? Are we going uniform throwback? Help me out, Chris. What are we going for here? So if you want to throw back to an era, which uniform, you can give me one before we get out of here. The text line open, 806-772-0197. The replay will be posted later on the Raiderland.com. We'll be back tomorrow, 2-word Tuesday. He gets a helmet sticker. Okay. I don't know what he's done lately, but Colby, you get one. I'm sure he's done something good here lately. Surely. Pretty sure. I like the idea of the 1938 team throwback look. I think that would be good. The 68-69 Texas Tech teams were fantastic. They had a lot going on those uniforms. Check out 68 and 69 uniforms. That was good. I could live with the Rodney Allison, Ron Reeves look as a permanent look. Very good. Dan says the correct answer, Gabe Rivera era with the big block letters. They had to be big to go across his uniform. Yeah, the 80, 81, the Rex Dockery years were pretty good uniform years. 76 Rodney Allison throwbacks were good. You had the black helmets back then. You get got the, yeah, you had the helmet stripe then. Wasn't BAM era a lot of black on black uniforms? BAM in the early 90s, it starts off with tech black on black, black on silver. Not a lot of black on black. Rare that they went black on black. That was more of a Leach thing. Black over silver. And then in about 91 or so, Spike put them in some really good looking red tops. The right shade, too, a deep scarlet, blood red shade that would appear throughout the 90s. It was a really good look. And then Spike, even in the late 90s, had some kind of scaled back red uniforms that were a good look. I'm trying to think if they had the shoulder patch number on it in 97, 98, right in through there. The silver pants need to be burned. God, those are bad. We lost in those years. Yeah, you lost in a lot of different years. Oh, I need to sneeze. All right, so we got to end the broadcast first and say goodbye to our friends on YouTube and on Twitter Live. We thank them for being out there and utilizing the text line tonight, allowing us to communicate with them. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, so we got to hit end broadcast. You guys check out the website, theraiderland.com. We'll archive everything. Do I want to end the broadcast? Yes.